Good morning, my name is Gabe Zollner. This morning I spent a little of my free time on the computer. And I searched around and I thought, I'd like to see what Google defines as slavery. And there's a reason that I wanted to see that. As most of us know, or should know, the slave trade was predominantly controlled by Arab Muslims. And they were instrumental in bringing over hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Africans that they sold pretty much all over the world. They sold them into Turkey, they sold them into Libya, they sold them into a number of countries that depended on the free labor that those individuals could provide. And what I did is I Googled the term slavery. And I came up with a couple of interesting facts. One of them was that the state of or condition of being a slave. It's a civil relationship whereby one person has absolute power over another and controls his or her life. Does that sound like a little familiar? I think so. Another definition was a mode of production whereby slaves contribute the principal workforce. That's interesting. A mode of production where slaves contribute the principal workforce. Okay, so how does that relate to the American people? Well, there are many of us that do exactly that. And there are many of us that are being pretty much taxed to the point of being no longer able to be taxed anymore. I mean, they're taking the death tax and they're tripling it. So anyone that has spent their entire life building whatever they were building and wants to leave whatever they can to their children are going to have to come up with an awful lot of money. For example, let's say somebody owns a large tract of land, and let's say that the land is very valuable. Well, let's say it's worth, I don't know, $5 million, $10 million, whatever it's worth. When they pass on and they leave that to their children or to their spouse, the spouse or the children are going to have to pay around 55% death tax. So that means on a $5 million piece of land, they're going to have to come up with close to $3 million to pay the government so they can get the land that their dad worked his whole life for. Pretty interesting. That tells me that we are, in fact, slaves. What's also interesting is that Muslims were the principal slave traders. And I believe that that's what we have in the White House. And I believe what he's done is he's flipped everything over, We're all slaves. And he's just like the slave master. I mean, what does he do? He rolls up his sleeves every once in a while, but that's only when he's on a runway campaigning. I've actually never seen him roll up his sleeves any other time, have you? I don't think I ever have. It's just when he's campaigning, he's got his sleeves rolled up like he's going to go at it. I think he had his sleeves rolled up when he had that beer summit too. Yeah, because he was working then. Anyway, I think this country is going down a path that'll destroy everything that we once knew and what we once cherished. And I think that for those of us that have children and grandchildren, they're going to have a miserable future under this individual's tyrannic leadership. Do I think that it'll end? Probably not in my lifetime. And unless he's removed, it won't end in our children's lifetime either.